Today we'll talk about why banks need to keep close eye on play-to-earn games. The Anti-Money Laundering Council wants financial institutions to ensure customer due diligence, especially those that serve as payment channels for play-to-earn games such as Axie Infinity. While Axie Infinity itself is not under the supervision of the Central Bank of the Philippines and not covered by the Dirty Money Watchdog, the Anti-Money Laundering Council Executive Director Melgeorgie B. Rosella stressed that financial institutions are involved with players converting in-game tokens into fiat currency. In games such as Axie Infinity, players receive cryptocurrency in exchange for playing the game. Axie Infinity players earn tokens known as Smooth Love Potion. The payment channels used for the Smooth Love Potion tokens used in the game may include banks and electronic money issuers. It must be remembered that banks and electronic money issuers are covered persons and are thus required to conduct customer due diligence, keep records, and file covered and suspicious transaction reports, Mr. Rosella said in a Viber message. These covered persons, as payment and settlement facilitators, should closely monitor funds that pass through them through the purchase or sale of such tokens for possible links to dirty money and promptly file the corresponding suspicious transaction reports when appropriate, he added. Around $600 million worth of cryptocurrency linked to Axie Infinity was stolen from the Ronin network, a blockchain network that allows users to transfer crypto in the game. It's said to be one of the largest cryptocurrency heists on record. The US Federal Bureau of Investigation last week said their findings showed that Lazarus Group and APT38, both associated with North Korea, were behind the cybercrime. The Lazarus Group was also involved in hacking the Bangladesh Central Bank in 2016. Meanwhile, Swaroop Gupta, an industry manager at the Economist Intelligence Unit, said the cyber attack showed that there are still gaps in ensuring decentralization for such platforms. The small number of validator nodes for the Ethereum sidechain Ronin and the even smaller number needed to approve a transaction shows how such platforms fail to deliver the levels of decentralization that are necessary to ensure sufficient levels of cybersecurity, Mr. Gupta said in an email. Sky Mavis, which operates Axie Infinity, earlier said that about 35% of the game's traffic comes from the Philippines. The company said it raised $150 million in funds, which will be used to reimburse players that were affected by the heist. Despite regulators issuing warnings on risks related to cryptocurrency, Mr. Gupta said gamers have remained largely undeterred. He earlier said the interest for play-to-earn games rose as Filipinos sought new sources of income amid the pandemic. Authorities should reach out to gaming guilds in the country and coordinate with them to provide education about the risks inherent with play-to-earn gaming activity, Mr. Gupta said. They should also consider imposing restrictions on the transactions of gamers at the point of conversion to fiat currency, since this is an area that is within the government's jurisdiction, he added. BSP Governor Benjamin E. Jokno previously said that they are continuously monitoring crypto-related activities that are used in online games. He said they're discussing with other regulators on the appropriate approach for Axie Infinity and other gaming platforms. The Philippines is under increased monitoring as it was included in the gray list of Financial Action Task Force in June 2021. It needs to prove it has implemented tighter restriction measures to prevent dirty money and terrorism financing activities. The government hopes to exit the gray list on or before January 2023. Who's hurt most in the $600 million Axie heist? After learning that hackers had made off with an eye-popping $600 billion from a software system tied to their beloved Axie Infinity video game, players reacted with shock and disbelief, and for the most part, kept on playing. In the Philippines and Vietnam, users took to Twitter and Facebook to air everything from complaints about cryptocurrencies frozen in their wallets to conspiracy theories. "I feel sad this happened," Axie player Johnny Watanabe said on Twitter on March 30, the day after the hack was announced. He added an admonishment to Axie's operator about using proper security protocols, joining a chorus of crypto gamers clamoring for an explanation of how this could happen and demanding that it be fixed. While players can still steer the blob-like Axie creatures around the game's virtual world of Lunacia in search for Smooth Love Potion and AXS tokens, one crucial aspect is now missing: the ability to move some crypto earned in the game out of the virtual world and into other digital currencies or fiat, and vice versa. That's because the hackers targeted software known as the Bridge, penetrating its security protocols and making off with a huge haul of Ether, as well as USDC stablecoins. That software, called the Ronin Bridge, was designed to allow Axie Infinity users to swap their AXS and SLP into Ether or USDC, an intermediary step to converting them to cash. It's attached to the Ronin network, the blockchain Axie Infinity runs on. In terms terms of who gets harmed most by this, it's not the venture capitalists, said Catherine Flick, Associate Professor in Computing and Social Responsibility at De Montfort University in the UK. Even a few days delay in refilling the bridge, that's going to affect someone feeding their family or paying bills, and in much greater a way than having a bit of blip on someone's investment portfolio. What do you think about play to earn games? Tell us in the comments. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.